Truthfulness, the satya. So this has its base in the ultimate truth. So we're on this plane in our reality of our manifested world. There's truth, but there's also the ultimate truth. And so we're trying to represent this, basically. All right. Asteya, non-stealing, so not taking what doesn't belong to you. And some of these things, like when I first started learning about the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, I kind of went ahimsa, check. Satya, check. Asteya, check. Maybe not chastity, but almost check. Greedlessness, this one's really hard too, but it's very easy to think, well, I don't lie, right? Because most of us, I think we pretty much have learned from childhood not to lie. But but we still do.
Doesn't agree with it.
Some parents have taught that. Your parents probably have too, but maybe. Yeah. Oh, I have a funny story. Talking about child, you made me remember when Jonathan, we were in India, and he was like 3 years old, right? I think 2 or 3. And we were at a friend's house having New Year's celebration, and Jonathan, he was still very small, so he was exhausted, and so I needed to go back to the house with Jonathan alone, and somebody dropped me off. I don't remember if it was you or somebody else, and they drove us home, and I got inside, and I see this. Yeah. And he goes, I don't have anything in my shirt. And I didn't really, actually it was him saying it that made me notice more than anything, because it was obvious like something was really poking out in the shirt. And I said, Jonathan, what do you have in there? And then he took it out. But it was a guilty conscience, because we went home on the motorbike, and the whole time, he had that thing in there, and we didn't notice. And it was a mermaid. It was a mermaid from the Christmas tree of our friend's house. I said, why did you take that? Because I find it so pretty. So then we had to bring him back, and he had to give it back. And anyway, so truthfulness. But I think he was still asteya and truthfulness. He stole, but he was still, even at a very young age, he still didn't feel comfortable. He knew that, because he could have gotten away with it. I probably wouldn't have noticed if he didn't say anything. Yeah. Anyway, so. Yeah, and things like, truthfulness and asteya, non-harming, they're so basic, but they're so subtle. And it's so easy to commit these things without even really knowing it. And we do it to ourselves, and we don't even recognize in our own mind that we're doing those things, because at one point when I was trying to notice, like I'm always trying to notice, but when I really started to try to slow down my mind and make spaces in between, before I spoke, before I thought, so that I could see what was actually happening, I could see that when something didn't want to be seen, my mind went really fast and tried to cover it, and I was like, I saw that. But you really have to catch it, because it happens so fast that you're going to distract yourself, and you're going to go on to the next activity or the next thought, just to not to actually feel what, because you don't want to see that about yourself. Who wants to see this about themselves, right? We don't want to see the bad stuff about ourselves. It's not very, very comfortable. But as you develop more compassion and more understanding that it's just part of being a human in this human body, then you just notice it and you go, wow, that wasn't very nice, Linda. And I don't know, I find it kind of humorous, instead of too guilt-ridden. Loka samasta